How's everybody doing this morning? You see it, cyber insurance not covering your AI security risk. So that's what we're discussing today. I want to appreciate Octavius for joining, Justin, and my man Jeffrey Johnson. I appreciate everybody for joining. Do me a favor, you know what I need. Give me that one in the chat so I can make sure you hear me so we can go ahead and knock this lunch and learn out. Give me one in the chat if you can hear me. Shout out to my man Ty. Once again, somebody hit me with that one in the chat for me so we can kick it on off. So I can make sure my audio's okay. Maybe I need to check my audio. Hit me with the one in the chat. I appreciate you, Octavius. Shout out to my man. I appreciate it. Shout out to everybody for giving me the one. Shout out to my man NC Worker, Super Green Samurai, Xavier, Coach Jeffrey Johnson, Kiki and Jasmine. Shout out to Convo Courses for joining me. Definitely been on this channel a couple times. Definitely a NIST expert in the house. I appreciate the like button. Yeah, hit the like button. I appreciate it. So go definitely check out my man Convo Courses out here doing great work out there. Definitely senior guy. Definitely getting into that AWS lifestyle. So I'm definitely glad he could join us. Once again, I'm usually on his channel Saturday sometimes. A lot of times I'm in emotion, but I definitely kind of go. So once again, go check him out. I appreciate hitting that like button. So I was just doing some research. You see it right there, and let's move in the slides. What's going to kind of jump out? So Tuesday night, I was talking about Air Canada and their chat bot giving out the wrong price. So just quick summary of that. Air Canada chatbot gave a passenger false information about claiming a discount. The airline must now pay him compensation. All right. So chatbot gave out some information. It was the wrong information. The Air Canada chatbot told the customers he could receive a bereavement discount after traveling to his grandmother's funeral. But the airline claims for bereavement rates should be submitted beforehand. Air Canada unsuccessfully argued the chatbot misleading information wasn't its responsibility. So I started thinking, well, I'm like, if it's something big enough, should your cybersecurity insurance jump in on that? Right? If your chatbot gets you sued, right? So I was thinking your cybersecurity insurance would jump in. Then I came across this, and if you Google it, the big AIGs and the big insurance companies are like, AI is going to be like a rider. Like, say you get a Bugatti, that's not going to be on your regular car insurance. You're going to need a special rider for a luxury car. So I'm treating AI like it's the luxury of IT. So you see it right here. Coverage for AI related cyber insurance is rapidly evolving and often an ambiguous domain, with traditional cyber policies frequently containing material gaps, exclusions, or unclear applicability. I'm calling it accountability, applicability. To modern AI driven threats and harms, most current policies were written before the explosion of generative AI, autonomous agents, ML driven business process, resulting in misalignment between what organization assumes is covered and what insurance are actually covered, right? So you probably need to get with your cyber insurance and figure out what's going on. Let me see what my man taught. I was about to watch the chat by one until this came up. Yeah, we're gonna give you a summary of it. Yeah, so that video actually prompted this video when I started digging in research. Yep, I saw that too. See, I had an image. I saw that. So the question is if your chatbot did that for 1 million people and they just gave $1,000 times 1 million people, Right now, you got a big problem. Both of these were pretty small, right? Most people weren't getting bereavement. But what happened if your chatbot got confused or got the dates turned around and just started giving a wild level of discounts? Right, that could add up to a couple $100 million. Would your cyber insurance protect you? I think the answer is no. So, but let's keep going. Once again, I appreciate it. Drop your questions or comments in the chat box. Also, always giving a great commentary. My user base is tech savvy. So let's keep rolling. The common gaps in traditional cyber insurance for AI risk and AI models: misuse or misjudgments. Many policies do not cover loss caused by AI system decisions, misclassifications, hallucinations, incorrect output, algorithmic failures. Insurance often argues that these are under professional liabilities or technology's error and omissions, not cyber. For example, an AI recommendation engine gives incorrect financial advice. Financial loss is often excluded. Right? Once again, I thought that would be under your traditional cyber insurance. They're going to talk about errors and omissions are usually talking about more from a legal perspective, not a cyber perspective. So once I started digging in, I thought, once again, that was interesting. And do people think they're covered from stuff they're not covered for? Training data related liabilities. Policy frequency exclude IP infringement for training data, copyright violations, unauthorized scraping of third-party data sets, privacy violations arising from training on personal data. These fall into IP liabilities, media liabilities, and privacy status exclusions, not automatically covered, once again, by your standard cyber insurance. So I think for me, especially from the GRC perspective, is what are we covered from under our cybersecurity? Once again, I think we're thinking we're covered from stuff we're not covered for. AI model poisoning, prompt injection, or data drift. Most cyber policies were written around traditional malware and intrusion, not for data poisoning attacks. Adversarial machine learning, prompt injection, model inversion extraction, misuse of large language models. If the cause is something other than unauthenticated system access, many insurers were pushed back. So once again, we're going to dig into, and I talked about this from a GRC perspective. Those are AI specific attacks. And we're going to look at some ways to mitigate those, have different services that can protect those. But if you don't have those in your policies and you're not putting special AI governance around it, your insurance probably is not going to cover. You're going to specifically get pushed back, and you're going to be responsible if AI gets you hung out there like Air Canada. I remember hearing a headline talking about insurance companies fearing that one major use model popping up facts. And then we're going to get into that. And that's one reason they don't want to insure it, right? That's an excellent statement. I remember her headline talking about insurance companies fear that one major use model popping up will bring them a flood of claims all at once from all the models' usage. So is it the model's fault? Is it the company that used that model and then put the governance around the model? Are you having flow downs, meaning if the model gets you hacked, they're responsible for your claims, right? So that's part of legal. That's us working with legal. They're calling that flow down. What things do you have in your contract that flows down to your subs, that flow down to your large language model? Are you gonna sue ChatGPT? You got enough money for that? You suing Claude, right? So what does that look like in real life? AI bias, discrimination, and regulatory penalties. AI-driven harms such as disparate impact, employment discrimination, FINRA ELC violations. Of course, my favorite GDPR and CCPA automated decision penalties. They are rarely covered under cyber insurance and fall under employment practices, regulatory fines, and discrimination liability. So once again, when you walk through, and we're going to talk about this, under your incident response or your risk analysis, where does this fall and who's responsible for it? My big issue is I don't care if we're not covered. The business owner and executives need to understand we're not covered, right? So if we get sued, we getting all of that. We're going to catch all that smoke, right? So then it becomes a business decision. I think most people don't understand once again, what they're covered for and what they're not covered for. Explicit exclusions insurance used for AI. Carriers are increasingly adding specific exclusions such as arithmetic errors. Insurer excludes unintended outcomes, errors in automated process, malfunctioning of AI process. Meaning, if that happens, your cyber insurance is not covering you. Unauthorized data training policies may reject claims where data was used without consent. Privacy violation stems from AI training. And I think a lot of authors are kind of trying to figure that out. People are scraping stuff up on the internet and they're picking up people's IP and they're not compensating for them. So once again, what does that look like in real life? Exclusion for autonomous system behavior. Action taken by automated system without direct human control equals non-covered, aka the Air Canada. When they came up for bereavement and they were going to give them a bereavement discount, AI should have sent them to a person to make sure they get clarifying of that, making sure the model's reading the most up-to-date documentation or policies and procedures we have in that. So when AI trains on that, you got to make sure it's up to date. You're not early. Oh, I'm early. Facts. I've been doing Lunch and Learn for a minute. We're on noon Eastern time. Appreciate you for joining. Once again, put your comments or statements in the chat. You know, PBL love those. So let's keep going. Once again, without direct human control, a lot of times from your insurance, you're not covered. So once again, from the Air Canada, and my man said the Singapore, anything where you're doing a refund or booking, once it gets to that level, you might want to push them to a real live agent, once again, to verify that. Many insurers use nation state attack exclusions to not AI enhance cyber incidents. So that's kind of interesting that nation state would be not excluded for that. We just had the big one where they were using AI and they pretended like they were testing stuff, but that nation state was attacking United States companies and government installations, right? So if that was somebody else's company account or personal account, they would be liable for those attacks. Shout out to my man Kim Goddard for joining. I appreciate it. Let's see what my man EU Commission has published quite a long list of directives that they will be implemented by 2030. I saw that the plan of past directives in relation to Scam Act. No, that's correct. And of course, shout out to EU. They're usually in front of it. Shout out to the GDPR. The EU usually takes privacy, which I loop AI in, a lot more. I wouldn't say a lot more serious, but they are, as a central government, they like to put directives, laws, policies, procedures around AI. And I think we usually follow them, right? If you look at CCPA, it's kind of a weak copy of GDPR, and GDPR was out probably 3 or 4 or 5 years ago before we got that. Let's see. Let's see. Is this mainly for generative AI models? I was wondering because 3.3 seems super broad. Let's look at 3.3 actions automated. No, I don't think. I think that includes ML, machine learning. That would be covered under machine learning. If you do ML, and it makes some kind of decisions. It doesn't have to be generative AI. If it's machine learning and it learns from the wrong piece, I think you wouldn't be covered by your insurance. Facts. You're 100% correct. And we're going to look at some of those. The misconfiguration has been in OWASP's top 10 for the last 20 years. So, now facts on that. Facts on that. Just an interview pre-screening with the virtual agent. How did you do? I had one myself. How did you do? They're so annoying for some reason. I don't know, because I know it's an agent and PBO's insulted. Those get on my nerves. Good question, though. Omnish. But no, I think that would be under ML too. What organizations think they're covered versus what is actually organizationally often assumed. AI related cyber attack equals cyber coverage. Model failures equal E&O. Technology's error and omission coverage. Bias or discrimination would be under general liability. In reality, cyber insurance only covers, I think this would kind of caught me off guard, security failures, not AI decision-making errors. E&O only applies when the insurance professional provides an AI service, not an internal use. General liability excludes most AI algorithmic, I can't talk today, algorithmic harms entirely. So, two, once again, what you think you covered and the reality is you're not. So, from a business perspective and GRC perspective, are we making a business aware of stuff they're not covered for? Right? So, when I worked at the large company, they had an AI committee. So the AI committee with legal, I think, try to broach a lot of these issues. I think the mid to smaller companies they kind of struggle on that. Once again, when I worked for the big company, they had a plethora of attorneys, right? So I think trash. I feel you on that. And I don't type well, so I had to type it out. So I was struggling on the type. I actually thought about cutting and pasting and putting it in ChatGPT to repaste it over there, but I did. But yeah, my I can type okay, but trying to do a live interview and type from the question they put in, I thought was disingenuous. Let's see. Let's roll. How business can reduce AI insurance gaps, and we're going to look at some issues and services to help that. Add AI specific endorsements, which your riders or thing you add to your insurance policy. AI model failures, training data liabilities, model poisoning, agent risk. One of my favorite, everybody know I'm a NIST guy. You can implement the NIST AI RMF. We got a couple videos on that. Insurers increasingly are asking for AI governance. What's your policy and procedure for AI governance? I'm actually going to take it a step further. I would do the plan. I would have an AI governance plan of how you're going to do it. And we're going to look at some of the services. Risk assessment. Everybody know I'm doing third-party risk assessment. But are you doing those on AI? Most times I see them, they're super light. Model lifestyle documentation. Because if your documentation is out of phase, out of date, that's what the AI is using to train. And that's how you can get bad fares, money, all of that, right? Test validation control. So how are you testing AI? Red teaming results. Boo, I'm a blue team now. Shout out to red team. So internally, we have to do a penetration every year. We have to do an on-site penetration every 3 years. So is your red team penetration test including your AI models? Right? So can somebody poison your documentation? How are you versioning your documentation? How are you reviewing the permissions on your documentation? Now, since that's being trained and used in those decisions now, I need to version it and control it, right? Because it's being used as part of a system now. Usually when you got positive procedures, we take versions, but once you read it now, to me, it's included in your system. So now I'm treating it like I got version control, I got numbers. We need to be reviewing it every year on certain documents that are being used in the training to help us with our cyber insurance. This improves the improved chances of AI related coverage, right? So these are the things we need to do once again to help us with our insurance coverage. If you got a SOC 2 type 2, you're doing most of that. I think the question is, are you doing it for AI? Let's look at some of the questions generated stuff from that you would find in Wikipedia. I wouldn't be surprised that bigger AI messed up too. Some may say growing pains, but no, I think that's legitimate. Anytime you got a new technology, you're gonna have growing pains. That's why I tell people you don't want to be on the bleeding edge. You don't want to be on the cutting edge. You want the guys with big money to do that because they got big insurance, right? So no, I think that's valid, Xavier. Let's see, my man. Oh shit, my fault. You must be on Pacific time. You can always check out the replay. PBO try to do a little lunch and learn. That's a huge point, knowing what is covered and what actually isn't. A lot of AI insurance seems to mention security-based, not factual or explainability-based. No, I think that's true, but I think you need to do that with your personal insurance. You need to review and ask those questions, right? You need to get those documented. So when stuff happens, we got specific question answer. Or once again, we got riders in our insurance telling us what we're good. And the other part is, what are you excluding? I want those actually in my insurance policies so I can give those to C-suite. So my favorite boss, we're going to talk about him. His name is Jan Bob. We don't guess. There's no guessing, Cam. So we need to figure out what's insured. Then we're going to ask questions. Oh no, this is excluded. We need that in a policy, right? And we need the C-suite to sign off on that, so everybody understands what we signing up for, right? Posted LinkedIn recently. I have not heard of that company, but I've had a couple AI interviews. I got to work on my typing skills, and I'm better on my feet. If you're asking me a question, I think I can articulate it better than a lot of times than me typing it out. I think I lose a lot of the nonverbal communications or verbal communications with tone or things I can kind of see even on the Zoom that, okay, this person's a little confused. I need to elaborate, or this person's frowning up. I need to give them more. All right, the chat, but I'm kind of figuring out, okay, what are they asking? Did he feel that answer? I'm trying to get into cyber, but I would love to get into cyber insurance. Seems really interesting. I don't know what the roadmap looks like. I don't either for cyber insurance. For me, I would go more to, and I need to reach out to my man, Cyber Stoic. Cyber companies look for you to have a SOC 2 Type 2, which is more of an assessment. And we're going to get into that. They want you to see the documentation so they can review you, so they can figure out what level of maturity your company is, kind of to help you figure out what your price on cybersecurity is, or if they're going to secure you or not. I'll let chime in on that. What y'all think on that? That's kind of my thought pattern. Because once again, cyber insurance a lot of times is looking for your SOC 2 Type 2 system security plan. Shout out to NIST 800-53. If you're HIPAA and High Trust, CMMC, those are security programs with a lot of documentation that the insurance companies need to review to figure out if you're mature enough to do this type of work, right? Because if you don't have the right security controls, or you have a lot of findings inside your organization, they won't give you insurance. Once again, I got a couple of videos on the NIST AI risk management framework, and that's the documentation that comes out there. And I think from a cyber insurance, so I need to do a little research on what that would look like. How many companies are actually running or integrating AI, though? I think it's a ton. I think it's a ton, Farron. Now, let's dig into that. When I say a ton, is a lot of companies have shadow IT using ChatGPT. I don't even think IT know what their people are putting in. We were talking about people putting in stuff that's not redacted. So, Farron, I think it's a big number. Now, are they mature? Are they just putting in a ChatGPT? Are they putting in Gemini? Are they trying to do a couple MCP and Claude? Right? Because once again, it's level to this. I think people are level one and they're not doing it right. They don't have any AI governance. People just putting stuff, getting answers in there. Even if you got the Gemini professional version, They're just putting stuff in. They don't have their documents in the right place. I think a lot of people are using it, Fern. Everybody chime in on that. I need some people to chime in on it. What's your thoughts of companies using ChatGPT? I think a lot of them are using it. I don't think they're using it properly. And I don't think we have governance around it either. Everybody chime in on that in the chat. Help me out. Help me out. Businesses can reduce AI insurance gap now by maintaining clear supply contracts. And that's what we were talking about earlier. DPAs, data processing agreements, service level agreements, agreements between vendors use, allocate liabilities, define breach responsibilities, ensure indemnification for model failures. Right. So when I do third-party assessments, when I used to work for the big companies, we work with legal. So we're going to look at data processing agreement. If you look on websites now, most of them have data process agreement. When you do those click-throughs, you're looking at the agreements you're signing up for that you don't know you're clicking through. So in there, and I was looking at one, shout out to Steph and Study GRC. They claim no responsibility. If they got you hacked, they just gave you the finger. You're responsible for it. Right. Which I'm fine with that. The business just need to know what they're doing, right? And I've got a lot of third-party assessments. So what are we looking for in these vendors agreements? From a security perspective, from an architectural perspective, big one from a legal perspective. Like you said, what are we accepting? Like I said, I was reading one, I think it was BitType. If they got you hacked, it was like, oh, well, it's on you. So your indemnification was, it's all you. Establishing AI incident response playbook, not traditional AR discovery. How do you roll back a model? If your model's wrong and you figure out how do you roll it back? Data set remediation, right? If somebody poisoning or it's reading from the wrong policies, once again, how do you put the new policy in there and get it to relearn? Adversarial machine learning containment, model retraining process, right? So to be honest, I've done a ton of incident response plan. I've led a lot of incident response plan. I've never talked about AI or machine learning in it, right? I probably haven't done one probably in the last year and a half, but that's something now when I look at incident response, we need to put in our playbook, right? And talk about what that looks like if we're using it. And a lot of times I think we're using it and we don't know it. Many may or may not be in place I currently working at, but they only recent months released the AI guidelines that were basically use Copilot, don't copy and paste output in the final product. So like my man said, I think we're using it, but that's not governance. As my favorite boss would say, that's hope. Hope is not a strategy, right? So, but I think that's what a lot of people are doing. I think there's a ton of places where AI are in use, whether there's facts sign off on it or not. For both AI governance or any depth seems to be lacking, which is normal though. Anytime you go up on the technology curve, when you talk about cloud, so we were putting documents out there, it didn't have the right permissions or the right permission review. So I don't want to act like it's something new. Anytime you have a paradigm shift, IT's always behind. We try to catch up, especially to our advanced users, our move the needle users, because they're using new stuff. Integration is a real use, not facts. Companies using tools, system software that now have AI facts. Now that's 100%. Bolted on is a great phrase. And that, like you said, that's definitely 100% true. Security threats often not fully covered. Threat type, once again, adversarial ML attacks, poisoning, and evasion. Not considered a network security breach. Unauthorized model access or model threat. Often not covered unless it meets defined data exfiltration. Falls into a gray area, not explicitly language and mode policies. Prompt injection. Shadow AI and unapproved tools. Excluded outside approved security controls. AI generated phishing or fraud, covered only if a traditional social engineering clause narrows it. Synthetic identity fraud, many carriers not explicitly excluded or cap it. Right, once again, we want to make sure what's in our insurance policies. And for people, and I'll probably do a 5-minute video, These are the questions you need to be asking your insurance company, your cyber insurance company. Are you covered for these type of attacks? And the answer is going to be you are not. So let's see. Let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. Companies are using tool systems that facts. Oh, that's Kim's again. The United States definitely need a federal act to deal with GDPR. Yeah, I don't think we're getting one, which I don't understand that. GDPR, was like we have 3 or 4 decent ones at the state level. I think CCPA California is good. New York DFRS is pretty good. Colorado's got one, but you're correct. We do not have a federal act at the federal level, which I think is asinine. Shout out to me. That's a great word. What does AI gen phishing mean? So if you get duped by email and it was AI generated, do you feel? Yes, you fail coverage. That's what it means. That is correct. That is correct. Which I think is correct. Which the AI email phishing and fraud is so good now. I think so many people are filing for it. They don't want to cover it. That's the point. So I don't even know what to add to that. To be honest, that's a lot of questions. That's not a lot of questions. That's only 1, 2, 3, 4. That's only 6 questions, man. What's up? That's only 6 questions. I mean, most people on here work for large companies. Our standard third-party assessment, I think, had 120 questions on it. So now that's only 6 questions, man. We just warming up. Let's see. Nah, fact, I'm with you. I don't think we're trending that way. That is incorrect. We're not trending to a federal privacy act compliance. No, we're not. No way, no. that is you're incorrect. We're not trending that way. I don't think we're trending that way. Here's some of the Kiki and y'all was we had the Air Canada chat bot. There was another one, My City chatbot for small business advice was giving around information. Lenovo chatbot was giving out discounts, I think, too. Gemini, there was a couple major ones. So once again, these are all AI chatbot or AI assistants that was giving out improper information and giving out money. So I think that's why insurance companies are like, yeah, no, we ain't doing that. So, and it's really from last week. Here's some guardrails. This is Amazon's guardrails, but any of the big guys have those type of guardrails. You have content filtering. Talk about unsafe categories, hate, violence, sex, self-harm. Topic restrictions. You can force chatbots to only discuss the allowed domains. So you're talking about airline policies, pricing rules. It probably shouldn't get off anything pricing. Sensitive data protection, talking about PII leakage, federal data, health regulated data. Custom rules, do not provide refund policies unless verified by APIX. Never offer pricing commitments, redirect to a human. That would have been great for the Air Canada problem. If asked legal or financial advice, give the safe handoff message. We don't give financial advice. You need to go talk to a real person. So, guardrails work with all the major models. Once again, people know I'm an AWS fan guy. So, Cloud, Titan, and all the big ones. Long story short, Bedrock is just a wrapper that sits around the type of model you pick and helps you have standard guardrails for corporations. So I think it tries to help you that. But that's one thing I think AWS is struggling with. They don't really have an AI strategy. Their strategy is you pick the model, we're going to give you corporate governance around it. Just offer, yep, they do. Oh, I don't know that. I would have to Google that. I would think so. I'm assuming if Canada did that, we would do that, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to Google that. They have their, once again, Lex AI is a built-in safety for controller, slot validation and policy enforcement. Chatbots cannot give answers inconsistency with policies unless defined API confirms it. When a chatbot's unsure a question is policy sensitive, refund pricing legal, it auto routes to a human agent. Right. That's exactly what Air Canada should have done. Lex also works with Amazon Comprehend, which is reading documents, getting information for those. The guardrails and recognition, if you need visual stuff, it can look through pictures, see if you're smiling or frowning, kind of, once again, figure out some sentiment from photos or different stuff. Once again, AWS tries to have the service for everything. Then once again, from an AI perspective, you can call those services and feed that data back to AI. So once again, have some governance around it. For agents that talk to AI or perform actions, pre-exclusion checks, agents cannot perform an action like issuing a refund unless an API results matches the defined rules. Use permissions are validated. So if it thinks it's going to give you money, it calls a specific API that's up to date and knows all the rules, right, to give it to you. You're not letting AI figure it out on its own. Audit logging for agents' decisions, good for compliance, FedRAMP, HIPAA, and high trust. You got to log a lot of that stuff. So where are you logging it? Until you want to go back, especially if you got a new AI or a new chatbot, I would go through and read those logs every day to make sure you understand what it's doing. And two, depending on what specific agents are doing stuff, if it's doing money or a HIPAA high trust, I'm going to review those answers every day. Right now, if it's a million answers, you might have to come up with another reasons, but I would have some hands-on looking at that. Here's some of the features that help you in AI governance. Once again, in AWS, guardrails for bedrock, unsafe content, hallucination, and policy violation. Less violation and policy, wrong pricing, incorrect rule promises. The RAG and knowledge basis, outdated or hallucinated policies. Agent action guardrails, unauthorized refund, ticket changes, Macy's and IM checks for data leakage, CloudWatch and CloudTrail full log for legal protection. So once again, just some of the AWS services. I'm gonna drop the link if anybody wants to come up. And two, keep putting your questions in there. Excellent questions as always. Look, I care about people keeping their jobs, but I'm not going to be complaining. I got no. I feel you. I feel you. I think that's going to go both ways. Some people, like you said, some of those services are kind of hard to deal with, especially in person. But some people are old; they're going to want to talk to people. I think the younger people are going to want to talk to the chat bot. So, no, I definitely see that. Do you think AI will enhance? Oh, it's already enhancing the supply chain. 100%. Oh, yeah, it's all in the supply chain now. Because a lot of your first level issues, tier one, they're chatbots. And they expect you to chat in. They got their standard script. Because I'm sure in the supply chain, depending on what part of the supply chain, but a lot of times you have tier one help desk, that's all going to be chatbot. Then two is as part of if you're looking through data and you're looking for anomalies or a different part of the supply chain, you're gonna have AI in there. I mean, if you're looking for something and you're moving, say, pharmaceuticals, and something took too long, right? They're like, hey, you need to check this resource. It looks kind of funny. Or you start scanning something, these barcodes look like they've been tampering with. So I think you're gonna have a ton of things in the supply chain where people were struggling to do manual, and I think they're just gonna start adding places to the supply chain. They're already doing that, I know, in pharmaceutical supply chain. Let's see, is there any? Let's keep going. Got a couple more slides. I think here is just kind of the chatbot architecture. This actually is from AWS. So you come in, you see your chatbot down there with Lex. We talked about your knowledge base, policies, procedures, and plan. You're using to train your chatbot and your AI. There they're using the cloud version 2 as part of the LLM. But where do we put all our documents? You see down there the PDF documents. We put our documents in there. We version them. These are the documents we want AI to be trained from. If we update it, this is the place where it needs to go to retrain. Right? That's the Amazon S3 bucket. And if you look at Titanium, is their chips that they're using to train their LLMs and data. So using there. And at the top for your open search, just their vector store. Shout out to my man Engineering Cannabis. He was on there Tuesday, just kind of talking about those different technologies. And to be honest, that's my goal, kind of in 2026, to kind of get better at AI and ML, specifically from a GRC perspective, and how do we validate it's doing what it's supposed to do, and we have the governance around it to kind of help it. Once again, it's just an AWS architecture diagram. We know if we need to give this to the insurance company so they can see how we're doing governance for that. Facts. I need a real person. So I think certain population is going to be there. I think during 50 years, people will be gone, but I think the younger generation, they're going to have their chat bots talking to those chat bots, right? So I think that's how that's going to run. But once again, this is kind of the governance and architecture of AWS, how they want to use a chat bot. These services at the bottom, you see it for conversation analytics. And once again, these are the things you need to show your cybersecurity insurance firm so they can see that you have AI governance over your chatbot. Once again, there's the link if anybody wants to come up, no pressure. So let's hit the top back real quick. And I think this is really it in a nutshell. Coverage for AI-related risk in cybersecurity is rapidly evolving and often ambiguous domains, with traditional cyber policy frequently containing material gaps, exclusions, and unclear applicability to modern AI-driven threats and harm, right? So I think from a GRC perspective and a small company perspective is, what is AI covering for you and what is it not covering? Once again, there were some things I think I assumed it was covering. It was like, nah, you're gonna need a special writer, right? So, but shout out to them. They don't want to assume that risk when you have ton of people, ton of businesses using it. And if that model's wrong, it's gonna be wrong about over 1 million people using that particular model. So once again, are you using the model and you controlling the data that it gets trained on? Or are you just using it as it is, right? Then just regurgitating that to your clients. So then if it's wrong, is it you responsible? Is it the model responsible for? Is it shared responsibility? Both of y'all gonna get sued? So I think those are some of the questions from especially from a third-party risk assessment and what that should look like. Right, too, I want to wish everybody a happy Friday and a happy holidays. Hope everybody's having a great 2025. So I hang out a little longer if there's any questions. And two is the links there if you want to come up. Let's see. And I think let me find those 6 questions. My man said it was a lot of questions. I guess I do questions a lot. So for me, I'm like, that's not a lot of questions. So let's look at that overview. There, once again, ML attacks, unauthorized model, prompt injection attacks, shadow AI and improved tools, AI generated phishing or fraud attacks, and synthetic identity fraud, which I'm like, okay. Doesn't matter if it's synthetic or real. So I guess I'm supposed to catch the synthetic, meaning it was all AI generated, right? So many carriers now explicitly exclude them. Generally speaking about cyber insurance, it's mainly coverage for when proper controls fail and negligence disqualifies you. I want to say partially because I think before AI that was correct. If you're, and they said it in one of those slides, if your security controls fails, right, you would be covered. Theoretically, they would come out, look at your SOC 2 report, and they would say, okay, these are stringent enough to those same controls don't map to AI. So I think that's kind of some of the, I think that was on the slide. So I think that's kind of some of the um, issues. I think some of the issues people were struggling with. And right here, see how business can reduce the scale. Let's look. Oh, so here, right? In reality, cyber insurance covers only security failures, not AI decision making errors. So I think that's the issue we're kind of struggling with. So here he said, if your proper controls fail, right? Those are proper security controls, right? So once again, what are those from an AI perspective? So I think that's what we in this industry struggling with. Shout out to my man Farron. You were on mute. If you chime in,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can hear me?
you can. You can. You are doing a bot.
Yeah. I'm in my car going to the gym, man. Got to get it in a little bit, man. Got to get it in.
No, that's cool. That's cool.
Not too much to say, man. I just want to tell you, man, you're doing a good job at what you're doing, man, staying consistent at
I
everything. So
appreciate
I
it.
just, I just wanted to applaud you for that.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You got anything you want to chime in on it?
Um, I was just thinking because I'm like between like doing Tenable Nexus and I'm in an internship at the moment. So
Mhm.
my my chime in ain't really too much because I'm still
Mhm.
learning
Yeah, yeah.
and just trying to understand where everything intersects at far as the AI,
Mhm.
uh, vulnerability scanning,
Mhm.
Sentinel-1, Sentinel, and
Mhm.
I know y'all guys, y'all the 25-year vets, so y'all know a little bit more than I do. You know what I'm saying? So just trying to
Facts, facts.
understand where everything is really transitioning to and just paying attention, man. That's it.
No, no, you're doing the right thing. Keep grinding. But for where you were at, I think you there where it's right there. Security failures. So when you have your vulnerability scans, right, it's going to tell you your findings if you don't have thing encryption. So those are the things. Once we get those findings, of course, we got to get those fixed. Those could be infrastructure, database, OS, right? So I think that's where the security findings comes in. But I think from the next level, I think that's where we're struggling because we can have all those findings fixed. We can sign off on it. We can have our SOC 2. But if AI comes out and reads something different in some documents, that really has nothing to do with the vulnerability part of that, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that's important because if that fails, that's going to be really the first nation states. And when you get insurance, that's really what they're looking for at first, right there. It says cyber insurance covers only security failures. Those failures usually come out from your vulnerability scans. Once again, I used to do Nexus and a lot of Rapid 7 vulnerability scans. We look at them because that's going to tell you what needs to be fixed or if you're in the wrong version and you need to upgrade, right? But once again, those are security failures. And the next level, I think above that will be your AI failures and what we kind of were talking about. Facts,
So
facts. Go ahead, go
so
ahead.
so you think so what I'm hearing is that level of security is not going anywhere.
Oh, it's not. The only issue you have, it's not going anywhere. The thing I think that's kind of hurting is um in the cloud, like AWS has AWS config and AWS inspector. I can just put that to say run it at every 30 days and just kind of look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, I think when I talked about vulnerability scanning, we had to install Rapid 7. We had to put all the agents on it. I think the cloud kind of handles a lot of that for you. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not going anywhere because we have to do it. I think if you're setting it up and setting agents up, I think you might have to go a level up one, meaning you look at the findings and trying to figure out from a infrastructure guy to cloud guy how to fix them. Let me know if that makes sense or not. So, but no, I don't think it's going anywhere. I think two is, and we get to a point now where it scans and sees the findings. You can just tell, the cloud to fix them, remediate them. It knows that version's old. It'll go get another version for you and put it out there.
But yeah, that was it. That was it, man. I ain't gonna hold out too long. That was it.
Okay, I appreciate you for joining. You know, I always come up if you got any questions too. If you're looking for me, you can always find me out there. Just put something under one of my videos and say I need to talk to you if you ever need me. PBO's always down the street. I appreciate it. Keep grinding though, like my man Kiki and Jamie said. We all learning every day, dude. And two, I'm out here learning too, man. A lot of my skills are outdated, man. I started off on mainframes in 1990, man. I got to get in the cloud of that. All that's new to me too. I got to break some bad habits. So now, like you said, we all out here learning, man. I appreciate you, Fern.
I appreciate you too, brother.
All right, now. Let's see what my man, I'm generally speaking about cybers, man. Yep. We talked about that. Is anyone trying to make it like an audit document qualify as AI solution is secure, like AI inclusion, SOC 2 type 2? I think that's in there. I'm going to actually do a video on OWASP. They actually have their AI checklist. Like OWASP usually have the top 10 things for a web app. They have the top 10 things for AI. I don't know if I'm going to do that as a pre-recorded, but yeah, I'm going to talk about the OWASP. And I'll drop that in the chat. I'm not trying to hide anything. Of course, I didn't say the link. Let's see. I think there it is. So this is what we're going to talk about. That's not it. So we were talking about. I'm a DVI hidden gem. PBO's not hiding anything, but shout out to my man, Engineering Cannabis. So this is the AI, what they want you to look at from OWASP perspective, which would be GRC perspective, which would be findings and stuff they want you to look at. Here, we can just share it now. Let's just go ahead and look at it while we're here. Let's see there. Let's switch over. Let's see if we can see it. There we go. Let's make it a little bigger for me, the old people. Let's keep it rolling. So here's the top 10 things. Oh, LLM, let's go to there. Let's make sure we can still see it. So if you look at, we just talked about element 01. We were talking about prompt injection. That's it. So they kind of tell you what you need to look for. Sensitive information disclosure. We talked about that. You can use Macy. But here's kind of their top 10 risks for mitigations for LLM and Gen AI. I put that in the chat. So this is what we're going to talk about. I might do a pre-recorded, but once again, these are some of the things to get you started. Here, right there. LM3 supply chain. Shout out to my man asked that question. We talked about data and model poisoning, improper output handling, excess agency, system prompt leakage, vector embedded weakness. I don't know what that is. I need to dig in it. Unbound consumption, right? And we talked about that too. What documents are you letting it train on that's going to give you, like we talked about, your refund, your money? So how are you going to do that? They recommend you go to another API. The API is only responsible for giving out that refund and money. But once again, we're going to talk about that. OWASP is definitely one of the great resources. I usually talk about it from a web architecture standpoint. They've been doing that for 30 years. But once again, they're keeping up to date. And that's your LLM. I dropped it in the chat. So that's some of the things we need to be looking for from a GRC perspective. Facts. AI is always changing how we do things. But once again, that's the OWASP top 10 large language model things you need to be checking. Working with your teams, working with your AI engineers, really working a lot. And me and AI, engineering cannabis, we're talking about that is what data can they see? What data they're responsible for? Or do you have a data swamp? You just dropping it out there and you tell them to go get it. No, facts. We're gonna definitely dig it out into vector database. But and engineering cannabis correct. And most people know I've been a security architect. We actually get into the weeds up to our knees when you start talking about vector and vector databases, right? And shout out to my man Varen. Some of that stuff you can scan for, all right? Looking for those type of weaknesses. And we're going to talk about those out of AI checks that's in Rapid7, in QualSys, in Nexus, right? And once again, going into that AI specific sector. Let's see on that. I appreciate you. Thanks for joining. So once again, I put that link right there. What's the top LLM? And part of your policy for AI, procedures for AI, part of my procedures in AI is we're looking for this as part of our manual findings when we look at AI or ask questions about AI. Even if it's not our AI, I'm asking them, are they handling the OWASP top 10 for LLMs? Even if they lie to me, I got to document it, right? So what are we asking our third-party vendors to make sure they're okay, right? And a lot of times they might not tell you, but that's fine too. If you don't tell me and you're not doing it right, I can say you were negligent because you were scared to inform, or it could be the opposite. They won't tell us, so we're not going to use their product, and we have to tell the business owners or the C-suite why we think this is a risky software. The question I always get asked is, how do you know if it's risky software? By asking these type of questions for your AI, right? And we had those 6 additional ones. So the question is, what's going to be the future questions for AI? Like I do a lot of security architecture stuff. We got like 120 questions for that, right? But once again, what does that look like for AI? And to be honest, I'm getting up to speed on that, trying to get more comfortable. What's my man? Anything I should focus on as a new info risk analyst at a hospital as it relates to AI? I just got my congratulations. Our role mainly involves evaluating. I do a lot of third party. I would work my way up. I would go to the HIPAA High Trust. I think High Trust as a technical certification is great. That's going to give you your basic security. If your security's basic messed up, you're not. It doesn't matter what you're doing in AI. Are you doing a proper encryption? Are you doing a proper hardening? Do you have the proper policies, procedure, and plan? Do you have the proper DR for your data classification for HIPAA and High Trust? Then the second part of that from AI is kind of like what we're talking about here is what's your AI governance? What are you training the AI on? Are you just letting AI run through your organization? Or are you just using a SaaS service and they already trained the data? Then 2 is who's responsible for it if that data is incorrect, right? You got to work with your legal staff in there. What's your documentation on that? It's more involved in our phishing program, PCI. Oh, fine. We just were talking about the phishing. They were talking about what is that? I'll switch back. I thought it was what's up, Jim R? Thanks for joining me. Yeah, here's the 6 questions. Shout out to my man Peter. I don't want to mess his name up. So here, AI threat often not covered. Adversarial email attack. Is somebody poisoning you? Is that covered in your insurance? Unauthorized model access or model drift. Prompt injections. We saw that in the top 10 in the OWASP. Shadow AI unapproved tools. AI generated phishing. Here's some like 6 questions that are we covered by that insurance? And as from a CTO, a security architect, are there asking those questions to handle about them? So I think those would be some of the things to get you started. Let's see. And security starts with with AI security, start with the source. Remember, AI is built on data and then move facts. And we kind of talked about that is AI is trained on data. Do you have data governance? Right. My man engineering Candace was saying, sometimes he has access to all the data. He's a very trustworthy guy, very smart guy. The question is, that's not least privilege. Should he have that much access to that much data? We were talking about a data swamp, meaning people just dumping stuff into our drive or database and just say, have at it. You got people SSCing, HIPAA numbers, SSCing, once again, from a least privilege. That should be controlled and have AI governance saying, engineering cannabis working on finance. These are the data elements he has. There's a data dictionary governance so he can see what he can get. Not he got to go find it, right? But once again, that's the maturity of a company. I don't see that a lot, to be honest. So let's see what my man Ty said. I know you want to do cyber. Oh, no, I don't. You do. My bad. I want to do cybersecurity, but the journey's slow. So I have been looking at vulnerability management, but intro into it, this seems challenging, right? And I think my man just talked about it. I would just pick one, meaning technology. Qualsys for smaller vendors, I use Qualsys. Big companies, I do a lot of IRS work. They use Nexus. Then mid-sized companies use I just said it, Rapid7. So I would pick one of those piece of technologies. I'm an AWS. I will spin up different EC2s with Windows OS and just set it up and just run it. They're not hard to set up and run. I would pick one of those technologies. I would actually go into LinkedIn or Indeed, which I know are a great site. I would put Qualsys, Nexus, or Rapid7. Put those in there. See what come up. See what dollar range. See what industries and domains you want to do. Which one ever had the most? If I could go out, and I think both of them, you could go out there and get a free service. Of course, you can't scan that many things, but I would pick one of those free services, one of those, and I would just start building. Then two, my man just came up. I don't know if that was Farron or he came up. I would reach out to him. He's doing it in real life. Just kind of work on it. So that's what I would do. I appreciate you. Let me know if you had any more questions of that. And I'm probably going to come up with a checklist for AI from a third-party assessment. I have some for security architecture part, especially from AWS. But once again, from an AI perspective, I'm running a little thin on that too. So I need to come up with my standard checklist of what that would look like. Once again, I'm going to drop the link if anybody want to come up. Keep asking a couple questions. We're going to keep rolling a little longer. The PBO going to take a nap. Do you know any information about SANS Academy program, how valuable it is? That's an excellent question. I don't. The only thing I know, shout out to my man, Struggle Security. SANS is very expensive. I heard it's very good. I heard it's very respectable. I just heard it's very pricey. Most people I know that got SANS, their company paid for it. Because I heard it like $3 or $4 grand. If you can get a SANS cert and your company would pay for it, I would definitely jump on it. It's definitely well respected. I'll let the chat chime in on that too. That's a good question.
Yeah, I done jump back in. Can you hear me?
Going? Yeah, I can. I gave that one question to you. No, I can hear you. Can you hear me? I can hear you.
Yeah. To the guy that was asking about the Tenable. So
I called you out. Come back up. I'm glad you came back up.
So basically, I'm in an internship right now.
You faded out, Farron. Was that me or you? Farron, I can't hear you if you're still talking.
All right, hold on a second.
I can hear you now. So I don't know if you got close. But
yeah. I don't know what's wrong with this, man. I got my headset. All right, so basically, I'm in an internship right now doing vulnerability management, and we're doing some stuff in Sentinel. It's through I can name drop on this. I ain't want to.
Yeah, you
But
do. Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, so with
Tell it
Josh
all.
Medical,
Shit. Tell it all. Oh yeah,
Josh
yeah. I love
Medical,
Josh. I love Josh. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, he got a dope
100%.
like internship program that
Mm-hmm.
actually teaches you about vulnerability management, Sentinel-1, Microsoft Defender, and things like that. And this,
You faded out, Farron. I don't know what you doing. Come back. Where you at, man?
all right,
I
hold
can I
on.
can hear you now. I can hear you now. I can see you now. But
Can
now,
you hear me?
shout out to Josh, man. I love Josh, man. Definitely up and
Can
coming, definitely big time in the game. But now, Josh is cool. Go ahead, go ahead.
yeah.
I can hear you now.
All right, all right. Well, yeah, yeah, man. Tell him just follow me on LinkedIn, and I can drop some of the information to him if he really want to get some real hands-on training with those type of tools in a real environment, so he won't have to get a trashy, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah, yeah.
subscription that you can't do a lot with. But with Josh's course, you can do a lot with it. So whoever
No.
the guy is, just follow me on LinkedIn, and we'll chop it up,
What's
and
your
we'll see what we can
LinkedIn?
put
How
together.
can we follow you? What's you?
Okay,
You
my
can
bad.
say
It's Farron Perry.
okay.
So it's Farren Perry Perry. I'm right on LinkedIn.
Okay, okay. I got your username up minus the 5550. So shout out to my
Yeah, yeah,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, Ty's my man. So reach out to Farron Perry. He reaching out. But no, definitely drop my man Josh, man. I don't I'm old, man. I ain't trying to hate on anybody. I like to see the young guy progress. I'm trying to catch up to him. Shit. Shout out to him, man. Nah, man. I'm a
Yeah,
big
yeah,
Josh fan.
he got a good program. Can you hear me now? I don't know what's wrong
Yeah,
with
I
this
can
thing.
hear you. No, you good.
Yeah.
You still in there. I'll let you know when you drop. No, I can hear you.
All right, but yeah, tell
Yeah.
whoever the guy was, yeah, check that out, man, and that'll
Yeah.
put you in the right direction.
Yeah, I'm great. I'm great. Shout out. Go check my man Farron Perry if you need to get that vulnerability management. Every company I work for, we have vulnerability management. Sometimes it's the cybersecurity team is. When I work for the big Fortune 500 company, they had their own vulnerability management team because I think we had 40,000 endpoints and shit. So they had their own squad. So uh, vulnerability management is going to be in there. Just once again, if it's embedded in security, if it's spin out in its own. A lot of times, small companies, one guy trying to do it all. But once again, that's definitely a skill. And two, if you're a GRC, if you look in this 800-53, you got to have a vulnerability management team because it's going to tell you all your findings for your OS, your operating system, if you're using the proper version. So you definitely need that once again from a risk perspective. Go ahead, Fern, if you want to chime back in.
Nah, I don't. But yeah, I'm in the gym right now, so but I just want to try to let the
No,
guy
no,
know. But
no.
y'all have a good one. I'm gonna still be listening, but I'm about to jump on this treadmill,
No,
man, get
that's
it in a
cool.
little bit.
My man, homie Larry, put your LinkedIn in there, so he'll have it. So my man Ty gonna reach out to you. Help my man Ty out. I appreciate you, Fern. Get your workout on. PBO need to follow you because he need to lose some weight in 2026. So shout out to my man. And once again, Josh is definitely up there, man. I'm old. I'm definitely not trying to hate on anybody. So if you definitely want to go check him out, he has a great program. A lot of people know I'm trying to do a course. I'm trying to model mine after his, right? How he's doing it, and maybe do some AWS and GRC labs, kind of like him, and kind of do an internship. But that won't be till 2026. Let me back up. I can't get my course done. I can't be talking about internships. But now, shout out to my man Josh. I need to reach out to him and interview him. But definitely, I ain't gonna call him up and coming. He's definitely out there. So once again, I'm trying to. But once again, shout out to my man Perry. Shout out to Ty. But that's definitely out there. He named his. He was doing. I think he said Sentinel and log analytics. Once again, when I was working for the big state, we were actually running those particular services. So I definitely know they're out there. Once again, keep answering your questions. We kind of winding it down. Gonna have a great Friday. PBO about to go get a little gumbo and get back to labbing. Shout out to me. Get back to labbing today. So once again, I definitely want to give out a shout to Fern, dropping that great knowledge. And once again, people not hating him, big Josh fan. So definitely go check him out. Once again, there's the 6 questions we need to add to our ML checklist. And 2 is I need to kind of give the tie because I've done a couple SIMs. A lot of times when people talk about vulnerability management, part of that is taking those vulnerabilities and putting them in a SIM, or those things get put into a SIM for Sentinel to review. If you're gonna go to the MITRE TTP technique, and a lot of times that gets pushed up from the vulnerability scan. Right, we talking about vulnerability scan of OS. Then the next part is, are we logging it and tracking those type of attack from a red team perspective? So I always talk about is the SIM protected? We're using the proper encryption. Is the thing pushing to the SIM? Is that information encrypted? So I think all of that's in there. Let's see what my man EC has for me today. I'm just engineering cannabis. What's up, engineering cannabis? Just chilling, man. We were talking about insurance from AI perspective. I don't think a lot of people are covered. But go ahead. What you chiming in with today, man?
So, in terms of insurance and AI, and you even talked of the prompt injection attacks,
Yep.
shadow, and you even talked of embeddings.
Yep.
All that is basically part of because I worked with some of the cybersecurity folks in the beginning, and I always say when we start drawing out where the possible threats or biggest factors in there, it always starts again with the source, and the source is the data. Where is the data coming from? How's the data being gotten? How's the data being used? And that's just one start. That starting point is just one avenue. Then you start going down into, okay, where the vectorization, that's another database where you use to update the LLM. Prompts, prompt engineering, how you prompt your LLM. All these are, again, from the prompt injection attacks. When an individual prompts that, can you attack that avenue? So there are a lot of ways to attack any AI itself. And the question is, due to for instance, LLMs, they're built on neural networks, and we don't fully understand how a neural network is.
Facts.
So you are trying to ensure a system we don't truly understand how a neural net. We have theories. They say, I know a lot of theories that come out, trees and all that. They're theories, but we don't truly understand how a neural network fires when you ask a question. So, insurance company, you don't understand it. So how am I going to cover you when you don't understand truly how this works? And you have biases. So how are we going to ensure a bias? Because human is innately built on the bias. So you're feeding an LLM data set that might be built on bias, but we don't even know how to detect it. Bias alone, the topic of a bias in AI, it's still an ongoing project that's still being researched. So all these unknowns are there, and the question is, if all these unknowns are still there, how can we ensure something that's, and again, because even with all these unknowns, it's still a useful tool. But how can we ensure it that this type of stuff can happen? Because again, look at the mortgage issues. When we saw at the end of the day, certain banks covered mortgages based on race, and they could blame it on the AI. So how can we cover that?
I think, and I'm gonna let you chime in on that. AWS said there's things called Wrangler. I guess they feel like if they get some demographic data, they can figure out if it's skewed or not. Right? But that's a separate. So if they can, because mathematically, if you can say, this is the breakdown, but like you said, you got to figure out what demographics you're gonna look at, where it's at.
But see, that problem comes in after. That's a reactive. Probably
Oh, facts.
once the output comes in and they are seeing results as over time and saying, okay, look, we're seeing you analyzing. That's what basically at the end of the day, the results from the AI agent comes in. You're analyzing the outputs. Okay, what this is what it's doing. Over time, you then see that skew. But at that point, is it too late, or is there something you can do?
Well, I
Because
get,
already, so now that's a problem. You're analyzing
man.
stuff, but you can. Are you also we're analyzing? Are you also analyzing the source data itself?
Oh, facts.
So the problems are vast,
Oh,
and
100%. 100%.
the insurance it's not there. And again, data governance doesn't exist. It's a whirlwind of mess.
Oh, yeah. But the cool thing is, kind of like tornadoes, they have a thing called super insurance, right? Where you got regular insurance, then super insurance if they take out a whole state, right? But you
So
know,
so if super insurance, you know how expensive that super insurance is going to be.
oh, it is. But let's be real. If you take the top, Anthropic, they got a lot of money.
They got a lot of money,
They got a
but the
lot of money.
question, but Anthropic, remember Anthropic? Imagine Anthropic is a SaaS company.
Oh,
They
facts.
sell their tools to other
100%.
companies.
100%.
So if they can say, okay, I can cover the cost, but the people we sell our tools for can't cover that cost.
Facts.
So that's a problem. So it's not it's again
So,
AI is the useful tool, and but there's a lot of issues in terms of not only cybersecurity but
oh, with it.
data and
But
all
I
that.
think historically, I think that's right? I think IT gets ahead of everybody. Then IT security kind of comes behind it, like we need to try to figure out how to lock it up, right?
I lock it up because
Yeah.
when I looked at it and when you said the data embedding weakness, I started laughing. I said that's what I was talking about yesterday.
Yep. I
The
brought that
vector,
up.
the vectorized database that links to the LLM. That's a problem. If we can attack that, that's an issue.
Here it is. I got it
So
on the chart. Hey, look at my
it's a
chart.
big problem.
Oh, it is.
That's
Hold on,
one
hold
thing.
on, real quick. IT Stanley at the bottom. Can I have the LinkedIn for account? If you go up, my man Larry put the LinkedIn for my man Farron. So if you're trying to do the vulnerability stuff, he's the guy to reach out to. I got a couple videos on that, but he's out there. And two, I think when you teach, you learn. So IT Stanley, check out my man Larry. He put the LinkedIn account. Then my man Engineering Cannabis, he was just talking about vector database. Maybe that was in the other
No,
one.
this is this is it.
There it is.
Yeah, this
The
is
vector database up
yeah.
there, right?
That vector
So
store, that store
yeah,
embeddings, yeah, that is the
yeah.
vulnerable part.
Yeah. So AWS is trying to put a little security around it, but like you said, it's still vulnerable. So from a security architect, governance, GRC, we try to at least see the architecture so we kind of know where the hotspots is. But kind of like engineering cannabis. I did neural networks in 1995 on a mainframe. Was never enough power to try to do what we're doing now, right?
Yeah.
So, but we've been talking about it for 40 years. but once again, from a GRC perspective and security, we at least need to have an architectural diagram saying this is what we're trying to secure. So hopefully we can kind of get some insurance because we're not running blind.
Yeah.
Theoretically, we're running blind because, like you said, we don't know a neural network, but at least you understanding what you should be looking at.
But yeah, but this is it. Look at the convert embeddings. You can attack that. Store embeddings. You can attack. There's a lot of places you can attack. And again, understanding even most of the time, people just run the embeddings are just mathematical equations that convert certain things to vectors.
Mm-hmm.
But you can attack all these spots and
Yeah.
the database itself and how the vector database relates to the LLM. You can attack that too. So there are a lot of attack vectors in this.
Oh yeah. But two is and like the PDF, we could poison the PDF that you're using to train
Yeah.
it to populate it, right?
That's the source data. So that's the
Right.
source data. The
Right.
PDF is the source data. Again,
100%.
I said you start with the source data, attack that. If not, you can attack where the vector database is. You can attack the LLM. You can attack even the embeddings in there and change the equation in there.
Yeah.
Then it's not so you can attack a lot of stuff. But the question is, you have cybersecurity. Do they need to understand all this in order to understand where to attack?
I think so, but what I think we're doing, and we talked about this some, is they're believing AWS cloud and the cloud's going to help them, but you still got to understand it. They just kind of giving you tools. But I think because people think they're in somebody's cloud, they think they're safer.
Yeah, that's the thing. No, everybody nowadays everything is tools. It's not understanding
Facts.
how it works. It's not understanding the basics. No, right now even the RAG system, because of the RAG system, everybody has abandoned how things work or how to even build a neural networks. Nobody's even talking about neural networks anymore
Right, right.
because right now you have AWS and all that building out
Hmm.
all these cookie cutter models, but nobody's talking about neural networks. Again, all that is basically another person's problem. That's it.
Facts.
So
It's security's problem, and we don't really understand what we trying to
then,
secure.
so that's another. Hey, the cloud got us. So cloud
Yeah,
has everything. So the cloud got us.
facts, facts. So I think that's kind of the issue. Um, but now, Fern said crazy thing. We don't even talk about robotics, but I think people believe AI is going to control robotics. So I think they're kind of lumping those together.
Yeah, but see, did you see the new robotics, Chinese robotics display
I
in
don't think I've
terms
seen.
of they even showed they produced a commercial on how they're trying to overtake in terms of the hands of robotics, and they even brought a display on how some of their robots work. And I don't think nobody's talking about it. I'm about to start up my own channel back again, dealing with AI and AI economy and robotics and all that because it's right now it's
My
everything.
and I'm gonna mention this one time. I'm gonna leave it alone. You know, we be worrying about the wrong stuff, man. We didn't talked about that, man. We going 50-50. You know, we be worried, but I'm with you, man. Sometimes, I think, man, I got 1,000 videos, man. I ain't got that many
No,
subs. I just
see right now. The funny thing is because of robotics and all that, I started learning um taxations and all that. So I went back to school to finish accounting, and I'm trying to get my CPA license.
okay.
So I'm learning taxations in forms of robotics and cryptocurrency and all that. And it's interesting. Everybody's talking about AI, but nobody's talking about the effects on AI in terms of the economy and
Oh,
taxation,
mhm.
all that. And everybody's just talking about it. There's so much going on in this space
Oh, it's
that
crazy.
people are they're not looking at it. AWS, everybody's talking about, oh, this is what we're doing AI, but nobody's talking about the financial impact of it,
That's crazy. I,
the
I,
taxation, and all that. And I'm
yeah.
looking at it, and I'm studying. I'm like, there's a lot of problems going on. Everybody's
I,
talking about it's going to take care of jobs, but I said, do you know 81% or almost 80% of the federal government's revenue is built on W-2 individuals? So if they start taking it, how does taxation work? And I started going into it. So I'm a data scientist, and I'm also looking at. But it's funny, but nobody's looking and talking about it.
well,
Everybody's
the thing
just
I talked about, but it becomes almost utopian, right? That dystopian that all the jobs are gonna disappear. Then are we gonna everybody's gonna get UPI because nobody's gonna get work
that's the
because
funny thing. If
go ahead.
85% of the federal government's revenue comes from W-2 people working, it's impossible to. How do you then replace 50% of that with AI and still remain federal revenue? Because again, you have to look at again. I'm looking at every aspect of
Yeah,
it,
my
but
my favorite
nobody's
thing.
talking. Everybody's just talking.
I thought about it, but it's just so dystopian. I love economics, so I broached on it. Is I think we're gonna be Star Trek, but it's gonna be pain before we get there, right? Nobody
Yeah,
on Star Trek gets paid, right? So what does that
right.
look like?
So I've been throwing models, doing everything, but what I'm saying is AI is coming, but we don't just need to focus on just the technical part. Every other aspect of AI is involved. The politics, the economics, the agriculture, the food, the cybersecurity, the security. Every other aspect is tied into the AI frame. And the AI now has become an economy on its own. And we are just, we're not, we're not looking at the economy. We're just looking at the technology, but not the how it affects the economy. Even if I'm talking about AI in terms of data science, you're talking about AI in terms of cybersecurity. There's somebody talking about AI in terms of finance. There's somebody talking about AI in terms of agriculture. It's an
Oh,
economy on its own. But
facts.
we are not really unplugged with it. Everything all I'm hearing is dystopian stuff.
Yep.
But what I'm seeing is AI in education. There's AI everywhere. So that whole economy is not being talked about, and it's funny. But again, I started a video on talk AI economy in terms of what is the next AI economy? Is it tech bros? Is it finance bros? Is it the new trade when everybody has to go into the trade, or is it gig economy? So I've been asking that question, and it's again. I know I'm leaving the cybersecurity side in it,
No,
but
no,
this is
you
what I'm
fine.
seeing.
No,
But this is what the questions I've been asking and going on.
yeah, I used to do thing, and I just stopped doing. I used to do tech and cybersecurity from a societal perspective. It's kind of what you talking about with AI, but
Mhm.
that never really got any traction. I think it's scary for most people, so I just kind of left it alone.
I
But
don't, I don't think it's scary. I think
oh,
it's not scary. It's interesting and it's broad and it's
but the reason I say it's scary because like the reason I say it's scary is a lot of people don't even know what's going on. So then when you start talking about okay, these whole sectors might disappear. But people always throw out, well, there'd be new jobs. I'm like, you're not qualified for the
but
new jobs.
again. I laugh because I laugh and I'm saying like me. I have currently again. I'm going accounting. I'm doing data science. I even enrolled into the trades with what's this doing HVAC with what's this I'm doing everything, and I'm asking the question is where is the new AI economy, and how does that fit, and how do you or how do we maneuver in it?
Well, I think, and I've been following this guy. He said right now, you as a domain knowledge, you can create your own software. You don't really you can get your MCP. You can create software that you understand with your niche,
Yeah, you
right?
can do all that, but the
So
question is I can do a lot. I can tell you, I can create an MCP server or RAG
yeah.
for accounting services that's connected to accounting details. I can do all that. But the question is, I do it because I want to learn it, and I read and I do all that.
Yeah, facts. Me too.
But the first question is for someone who's trying to break into even the tech or even new role into in terms of this economy. Where do they start? If you, for instance, if you're a mechanic and I
Mhm.
say I want this mechanic, if you really want to make real money in mechanic and you want to make sure you through proof, yes, you can learn how the engine works. But if you learn how an engine works and also learn how the engine of an AI system's attached to the engine works,
Mhm. Mhm.
that's a big bump. So if, for instance, if an automated vehicle breaks down on the road, you call a mechanic. The mechanic comes in and says, "Oh, the engine is working fine, everything they run, but the engine of the AI is not working. I can fix that." But if you can fix it and say, "Okay, look, the engine is working. Look, I'm looking at this code and I'm seeing a missing code in here that's not connecting to the engine. If I can just change that code and the engine starts up,
No, I'm with you.
don't you think you'll be
I get you.
more aren't you
No,
more aren't you more useful at that point? Because now that's the AI economy, a mixture of not only the trades but the trades and tech.
oh,
Understanding
facts.
how engine works and understanding how Python code works, and you are a mechanic, you're big. You're big in that aspect. So the new AI economy is now not a mixture of just one set of skill, but
No, facts.
numerous skills attached to each other.
Facts. Give me 1 second, engineering cannabis. Let me see what Farron wants to chime in real quick. Farron, while you walking, you want to chime in? Farron.
Yeah. So what I can you hear me? Man,
Yeah, I
this
can.
nigga.
Talk a little louder though. I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right, hold on. Right. So I'm thinking like with somebody new that's really coming in and trying to break in, because I'm fighting with the same thing he's talking about. Like understanding the fundamentals and adding the AI on top of the fundamentals, also adding that to other skills as far as OT ICS. So that's like operational
Yep.
technology,
Check
industrial
out my
control
man.
systems.
Check out Struggle Security for that. Keep going. He's an OT guy. He's got a class on LinkedIn for free. Yeah, you was clicking a little bit.
With,
Keep going.
yeah, so with those technologies, it's just basically. Let me put this to my head, man, because
There's some clicking.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
I know y'all can hear me. You can hear. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can. Yep.
Yeah.
Clicking though, but keep going.
All right. Yeah. So basically, with all those skills, it's like adding all those together and seeing what all the different industries is going at in real. Like for a guy like me, man, it's a lot of research just to tap into the correct thing and not waste a lot of time. You understand? So definitely, I think that, like you said, I got your name. I forgot your name, but yeah, just tapping into everything at once. But just you still got to get the foundations. So that's what I'm for everything.
You got Farron, you breaking up. I don't know if you need to drop out and reconnect. You got this clicking going when you're talking, but let me get a couple of these in there. Ferris thinks the companies are going to keep building bigger and bigger, more jobs to come. I think it's going to be less jobs. I'm going to let engineering cannabis comment on that.
I think it'll be more specialized jobs. So, for instance, again, I talked about a mechanic, and it's look at a doctor. Imagine a doctor understanding again how AI works. He's using the tool like he's using telehealth systems, or he's using a mechanical arm in their system. What if he understands how to change the data going into that mechanical arm, or update that data, saying, okay, look, this mechanical arm is not doing this correctly. Can I see that code so I can update that data of the mechanical arm that's doing this surgery, to update what kind of surgery he's doing, or update the services, or maybe link to the services, all that. So this is what I'm saying. It's not gonna increase. It's gonna change how we look at the jobs, make it more specialized.
But I got a question. Let me shout out to my man. Jim R said it's estimated up to 60% of corporate jobs and 80% of the government jobs are going to go bye-bye. But once again, engineering cannabis, once I train the arm, I don't need the doctors anymore, right?
No, you always need a doctor, because again, the human body is always changing. We don't even understand the human body completely.
No, I agree, but I guess my thing though is the arm is going to be able to do way more surgeries than the single doctor, but the doctor's going to train the arm, right?
Yeah, the doctor. So the doctor is still going to, again. We didn't know how to separate two humans that are connected with the brain, with a similar brain, and they remember the doctors basically split Siamese twins or something like that. They split that. We didn't know how to do that, and there's the cancer. We still don't know how to kill cancer.
Oh, facts. Yeah, there's some things we haven't.
So there's still a lot of stuff genetically we can't rely on robots. Robots are fed by our intelligence. Remember, the data is being fed by us.
No, facts.
They can
until AGI happens. Keep going until we get to AGI, right? Keep going.
So until we might still say, okay, yes, the arms might do something efficient or might faster, but it still doesn't know how to explore and look at things in our way, how to adapt through a surgery. Maybe something that has not been happening. Maybe he's doing a surgery that has been doing every day, but the arm nicked a vessel, maybe a blood vessel that it's not nicked before. How does he adapt? He doesn't have that data. It's going to start hallucinating. So now the doctor has to take over. So you remember, hallucination is not just for chatbots.
Oh, facts. No,
hallucination is for arms. So this is what I'm saying. It's not going to be able to take over. It's going to be able to assist. and we are going to basically train it. But the doctor is not a doctor is not going to be only a doctor that just looks at how the body works. It's going to also understand how, okay, how does this tool I'm using going to be working too? And that's where the connection comes in. How is AI going to? This is the AI economy. This is the new AI economy. What is it? Is it going to be trade workers working as a gig work at the same time? Imagine you doing Uber Eats and as a tradesman. No, it's the truth.
No, I get what you're saying. That's
You
crazy
call
though.
you call Uber. Hey, look, I need someone to fix my bust up HVAC system. You here? Sure, I'm riding Uber real quick. I'm gonna stop by and you pay me my. Again, it's a mixture of both. Are we gonna do trades and being in tech? Yes, fintech already exists. Trade tech might soon will be soon. It's already here because right now when you go into appliance repair, you are talking with a system, an IoT system. You're
Mhm.
talking with an intelligent system. So you're not just fixing a washer and dryer, but at the same time, you will be asking questions: are the networks working correctly? I know the electrical stuff is working, cool, but is the network working? Or you go into a smart home, you're not looking at if the dryer is working, you're looking at is all the network security and all the network access is working properly. You're looking at code at the same time while you're looking at if the dryer is busted. See what I'm saying? This is where it's going. So when people say just stick to trades, I'm like, this is not what we should be saying. We should be saying, where is this AI economy going to? And how do we adapt to it? Because right now we're not talking about adapting. We're talking about surviving. Everybody's saying,
No,
"Oh,
facts.
just go into trades, you survive, and you'll be able to eat." Nobody's talking about going to this and this, and you will succeed, and you will able to adapt in this new AI economy. But all we're talking about is how to survive, but not how to adapt. And that's what I'm seeing. And again, I'm pure example of how to try to adapt. I'm going into CPA. I'm looking at the trades HVAC systems, and I'm also a data scientist. So the adaptation, how to adapt, comes into play, and that's how we should look at it. And I know I've gone
No,
over AI, but that's what I'm trying to build. The new channel is that AI economy, understanding how to adapt. How do we adapt to someone with you with cybersecurity? Can you in the trades now the HVAC systems for a big Amazon or data warehouse is now a big HVAC system is now being attacked. You need someone who
no,
understand. If
facts.
you understand how a data center works and HVAC system works, and you understand how cybersecurity works, those are
No,
skills that
facts.
go hand in hand.
Yeah, I've actually did a risk assessment on an HVAC system.
So
So
it's
yeah, so
understanding all this. It's not cybersecurity, understanding, for instance, how automated vehicle is working, and then the vehicle stopped, and I said I'm not a security guy. You got to call a security guy who understands how an engine works, because at this point, oh, your engine is running cool, but I see here it's been attacked at this vector in this area. Let me just change this code or install a software or something that will help you run that, and boom, you're up and running. This is the new AI economy, and we're not
no,
talking about that.
no, I agree. Like I said, I touch on that every now and then, like you said, from a societal aspect, usually from cybersecurity. But like you said, there is um ramifications, input, ways to, like you said, instead of surviving, thriving. Appreciate you, Jim R. So yeah, like you said, I think that's something we I touch on a little bit, but I don't see that talked a lot. I think Dr. Dix does it a little bit,
Yeah,
but
people talk, but it's more of you got to get a job, or the job is people losing jobs. I'm like, "Yeesh." Yeah, people are losing jobs, but that's part of how the AI economy, and the AI evolution starts. It's you see a lot of job loss, a lot of stuff happening, but at the same time, a lot of adoption. Before a lot of open AI, a lot of deep seek, a lot of people adopting new AI, a lot of SaaS, a lot of stuff. Now the question is, as the adoption is happening, do you say I just have one skill and that skill is going to carry me over, or you say how can I adapt that same skill with other skills to move on? As a tradesman, as a carpenter, are there skills within, are there AI tools or AI things that I can adopt that can help me move quicker? So these are the stuff
No,
that
but
we need to be asking ourselves rather than asking the same question: what's going to take our jobs, and I'm just going to be waiting to get fired. I'm like, nah, that's not me.
no, like you said, because like you said, I'm kind of gonna start digging more in. Like you said, talk about MCP servers, how to secure them. Like you talked about how to vector, how to secure them. Because like you said, I think we just hoping that Azure, Google, and Microsoft can help us out with their services, but I don't think anybody's really rolling their sleeves up and really digging in security for those particular technologies that are embedded in AI, like you were talking about. Well, engineering cannabis, I appreciate you for coming up. I don't know if you got to take some. I'm going to shut it on down. I want to appreciate everybody for joining us.
All right, well that's it.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you. You're welcome, man. I'm sure you'll be back.
Yeah.
Once again, I want to appreciate. I want everybody to have a happy Friday. I want everybody to have a happy Friday and make sure you're making it. We got a lot. Oh, but Farron came back up. Let me see what Farron got. What you got, Farron? I'm trying to shut it down. Chime on in real quick.
Man,
Farron, you
listen,
there?
I done tried this thing about 50 times. Y'all can hear me now?
I can. You sounded clear with no clicking this time. No clicking.
No clicking, no clicking. All right, so everything. Man, what's your name? What's the other guy name?
Oh, that was engineering cannabis. He changes his name
Engineer
every
Canada.
week. Yeah, he actually does AI in real life from engineering standpoint, running models and stuff. So he's gonna
But
get his channel started back up. But go ahead.
I think he's actually right because if you on a job, most of the time, I've been in manufacturing work for a long time, and the biggest thing they always ask, they want you to cross train between departments.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what I'm seeing with technology is the same thing. In other industries, you're gonna have to AI is gonna be like a parent, a parent of the other child industries, and you're gonna have to know AI in order to actually move through this whole economy. So I think he's absolutely right. But where to start at, that's a lot of learning, a
That's a
whole
lot.
lot of learning.
It is.
So it's like you gotta start somewhere, or even with the domain knowledge you might have. Like I did a lot of manufacturing work. So I understand the ins and outs to the SOPs, to the actual the automated services and the actual robotics that they use, automation that they use in the company. So that knowledge can carry on to that. So yeah, I just want to say he is absolutely right.
No, that's cool. Once again, I want to appreciate you for joining me. I think we almost went for 2 hours, so I'm gonna shut it on down. I want to appreciate everybody for joining us. Check my man Farron. He put his shout out to Larry, put Farron's LinkedIn in there. If you need to talk to my man Jim, he's definitely a resource. He put his LinkedIn in there. So once again, obviously we're gonna keep talking about AI from a GRC perspective. So and once again, my audience is pretty diverse. So shout out to Engineering Cannabis come out. Shout out to Jim R. Once again, he said he wanted to get into a fray, but he couldn't quite get into it on this Friday. But once again, I want to appreciate everybody for joining me. Once again, this is a great topic. Obviously, we need to keep touching on these topics. I try to do them from a cybersecurity and a governance, risk, and compliance. And I think Engineering Cannabis talked about that. Data governance in AI is kind of thin. So what does that look like, and what guardrails can we put on AI to kind of assist us really for the subject today, so we can get cybersecurity insurance on our AI, or at least get a better price on the riders because we have this governance and control. So once again, I want to appreciate everybody for joining me. PBO's out. I hope everybody have a great weekend. And obviously, like my man said, keep learning. I'm old, and even the old people are learning, man. Stuff is changing so quick. AI is here. It's not coming. It's here. So once again, I appreciate everybody for joining me. I'm out. Everybody have a great weekend.